be talking about a little EP by a little band known as Khruangbin with a little soul singer known as Leon Bridges. As you can see, I'm wearing my hat today because, man, this Texas sun is just beating down on me, man. So, this was released in February of this year, and the way it came about. So they toured with Leon Bridges in North America in 2018, and they think, hey, this is pretty good. Let's make a little EP together. So they go in the studio, they recorded the song Texas Sun. They issue it as a single in, I think, December of 2019, and then a couple months later, the EP is released in February 2020, this very year. There's a great quote from Radio Primavera's 1-minute review of this EP. There is no sense of urgency when it comes to this. This thing is so laid back. So the album opens up with the title track, Texas Sun. This track is really interesting, especially in the guitar work. It's very interesting. It combines sort of a Spanish, Mexican, flamenco influence almost, with a almost country sort of vibe, and almost a classic rock kind of solo in it. But this is actually what got me into the album. So the second track on this thing is called Midnight. It's got kind of a similar vibe to Texas Sun, except it's a little more, I'd say, percussion focused instead of Texas Sun, which is a little more guitar. The lyrics are a bit different. Instead of being about, actually being about Texas, this one's about a long lost lover. A bit of a sad song. It's a great one to jam to once again. It's got a great beat, like I said, Donald Johnson Jr. on that beat, man. I'd say, at the very least, it's the second best song on the album. Some days I would probably choose it as my favorite, because I just love the beat to it. So those are Texas Sun and Midnight. Midnight closes side 1. Side 2 opens up with the song called Seaside, which is letter C dash the word side, which I just got. It's supposed to be seaside, like a beach. That shows how smart I am. Sort of reminded me of a Talking Heads song or Tom Tom Club with Tina Weymouth and Chris France. And like Texas Sun and Midnight, it's a great one to groove to. Although I'm going to be completely honest, out of all the tracks on here, Seaside is probably the least memorable. It took me a couple listens to remember it, I'm not going to lie. It didn't stick with me for some reason for the first couple times, but after hearing it, I listened to it before this review, and I remember it more than I did the other times. Enough to tell you it's like a Talking Heads or Tom Tom Club song. I still gotta say, it's probably the weakest on the EP, in my humble opinion. But it does pick up a good bit on the last track of the album called Conversion. This track is so hypnotic. It's so laid back. It's just a great thing to vibe to. It's kind of a religious song. It's about finding peace in God and finding yourself. And I really appreciate that. It's got some powerful lyrics. And towards the end, it actually goes into a hymnal titled At the Cross, written by Isaac Watts. So that's a pretty cool little sample there. It's a really powerful song. It probably, out of all of these, the first time I listened to it, the whole album, like all the way through, this one probably stuck out to me the most because it was just the most interesting. And something else really interesting about this track, Donald Johnson Jr., who's the drummer of the group, actually does the piano on this song. And it's actually really good. He plays some really interesting chords. There's an effect over it that makes it sound almost like watery. Overall, I gotta say, probably not the most groundbreaking thinking man's EP. It doesn't say too much, but what it does give you a really good, really strong instrumental album. It's kind of a throwback to maybe sort of 70s sound. I gotta say, I'm actually perfectly happy with this collab. I hope they make some more stuff. I think Leon Bridges is definitely a great vocalist for Khruangbin. They really work well together. I think they bring out the best in each other when they collaborate. But overall, I give it 8 out of 10. Pretty strong. And yes, I do listen to modern music, okay? Calm down. This is what the record looks like. Once again, ordered it from Spoonful Records in Columbus, Ohio. The first time I went there was when I saw Peter Gabriel and Sting on their rock paper scissors tour back in 2016. This is the cover, which I have to say, very beautiful cover. I like this cover a lot. I would frame this. Unfortunately, not blue vinyl like Billie Eilish, so points deducted for that. But still, highly recommend it. Great to vibe to. Hope everyone's doing okay. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the flip side. Great to vibe to.